Every culture has gifted a unique technique to the culinary world. As a proud Sindhi, I present to you the technique of double frying, which makes everything super crispy. Today I am making one such recipe using this technique, which is Sanna Pakora with spicy side chutney. Let's see how to make it. So let me tell you what the word Sanna exactly means. Sanna means thin. There's nothing thin going into the bhajia, nor are these bhajiyas going to make you thin. But the ingredients that are used in these pakoras are finely chopped, and that's why it's called Sanna Pakora. Sai means green, which is a basic green chutney that we're going to make. So that is sai chutney. Let's begin with our Sanna Pakora batter. I'm starting with 1 cup of besan or gram flour, finely chopped onions. Next, I'm adding finely chopped coriander. Around 2 tablespoons of chopped coriander will be good. Then I'm adding 1 finely chopped potato. I've soaked it in water just so that it doesn't turn brown. No other reason. So you have to add as many veggies as much as the besan. So make sure you have a good mix of veggies and besan. Next, I'm adding in ginger, which is finely chopped once again. Very little, half a teaspoon should be enough. And 1 chopped green chilli. Now you can increase or decrease the amount of chilies based on your liking. A little bit of haldi for a hit of color. A little bit of red chilli powder just to increase the heat. Next, I'm adding in salt to bring this all together. 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. And some crushed coriander seeds. This is very traditional. If you don't like the taste of coriander seeds, you can just add in coriander powder. Traditionally, pomegranate seeds are also used in the recipe, but I couldn't find them, so I'm going to skip them this time. They add a nice tangy flavor to the pakoras. Now I'm just going to bring this together with my hands first. It's always good to mix the batter with your hands so that you can actually feel the texture of the batter. If you end up adding too much water to the batter, it will absorb a lot of oil while frying. So now I'm going to start adding water little by little to make a thick batter. As a child, every time I went to a dinner party to a Sindhi household, this was the star dish of the night. Of course, every house had their version of it. You too can make it your own by adding any kind of spices that you like. Now, in my house, we never use baking soda while making Sanna Pakoras, but a lot of houses did. If you want to make them super fluffy, you can add like a pinch of baking soda. Make sure not to overdo it because that again will absorb a lot of oil. Now, to make this more crispy, I'm going to add in a little bit of hot oil or mohan, which is usually added in frying any kind of dishes. I'm going to quickly mix this with a spoon. While this is super traditional, you can also add rice flour to make it extra crispy. Time to fry our Sanna Pakoras. I'm going to drop in big blobs of the batter. Unlike normal bhajiyas, I am going to overcrowd the pan because I want to consecutively bring down the temperature of the oil so that the bhajiyas cook very slowly. Remember, we're going to double fry these, so we're not looking for the crunch right now. We're just making sure it cooks through from the center. Once the bubbles start to subside a little bit, you can take the bhajiyas out. This is our first fry. As you can see, there is hardly any color on the bhajiyas, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. They're nice and soft. Now that the first fry is done and the bhajiyas are out, I'm going to turn up the heat and let the oil heat through completely. The second fry is going to be on high heat. Now we have these huge blobs of pakoras which we are going to cut down into bite-sized pieces. This will ensure that there is more surface area and more crispy corners. The oil has heated up nicely. Now it's time to fry our cut bhajiyas. I'm going to add in, and this time I'm not going to overcrowd the pan. I'm going to leave a lot of space. Initially, I fried everything in one batch. This time I'm going to divide it into 3 batches. As you can see, after the first fry, our tissue paper has absorbed a little bit of oil compared to your regular bhajiyas. So it's a little bit yellow from the haldi and the oil. Now let's see what happens after the second fry. There is hardly any oil on the tissue paper, and this is another benefit of double frying things. It absorbs very little oil, especially if the temperature of the oil is perfect. Your bhajiyas are not going to absorb a lot of oil. Now let's test the crunchiness. Super crunchy. It reminds me of my dadi. I'm really happy with this batch. Now let's see how to enjoy this with a spicy chutney. Now let's make our Sindhi style side chutney. Try saying that 5 times in a row. The unique thing about this recipe is that we use onions while making this chutney. So I have 1 medium-sized onion here, which I've cut into small cubes. No need to be fussy here, we are going to blend all of it any which ways. I'm using 5 small cloves of garlic, half an inch of ginger. Don't overdo this, otherwise your chutney will become very spicy and it will hurt the back of your throat. Now the green chilies, use as much or as little as you like. I'm using 1 green chili, which is quite dark, so this is going to be spicy. 1 teaspoon of jeera. Next, I'm adding in salt, which is going to help blend everything very well together, and it is also going to bring out the flavors in the chutney. And then 1 bunch of coriander leaves. These are washed and then dried. Just pack it in. It's going to reduce in size obviously while it blends. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water to help everything blend together. Around 1 or 2 tablespoons should be enough at first. You can add more if required. Now let's just blend this. The chutney is nice and blended, looks super green. I usually like to add the lemon right at the end so that it preserves the color very nicely. And also, the coriander always comes down to a very small quantity. So it's better not to overdo it. So just a few drops should be enough here. Now I'm going to simply mix this with a spoon. The chutney smells amazing after adding the lemon. It tastes perfect as well. At this point of time, you can taste it and adjust the seasoning as required. Now it's time to enjoy these bhajiyas. Let's see how to eat them. If you're old school Sindhi, I'm going to give you a bit of nostalgia. This is how we eat it at home. A slice in hand. This is not called bread, this is called slice. A little bit of green chutney, only on half side of the bread. Few bhajiyas over the chutney. Then I'm just going to fold the bread, press it and bite into it. Super crispy, a little spicy and perfect with a slice of bread. Our Sanna Pakora with side chutney is super yum to eat. Do try this recipe at home and let me know how it turns out.